And to discuss today's elections in Barbados, we now welcome Taahir Bulbulia, who's a Barbados Youth Ambassador. Taahir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on the program. Good night, everyone.
Taahir, how important are today's elections for Barbados?
Yes, today's elections are extremely important for Barbados. This comes at a time where over the last 2 years, we have been in a pandemic, and we all know the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the global economies. So this is very important for us, the people of Barbados, as we have to choose the path and chart the path we want to go forward on. If we want to stick with the government that has done so well throughout the pandemic to keep our economy and our people afloat, or we want to go an alternative route where the people have that choice to make that alternative that of the other parties that are bidding in the election.
Taahir, what can you tell us about what you've seen today in terms of the turnout? And as a young person, are young people generally politically active in Barbados? Do they take part in elections?
Actually, the reports from the elections thus far that has been one of the lower voter turnouts across the country, which we have 30 constituencies. The voter turnout has been low, which have come in the reports thus far. The youth, with regards to the youth are very much politically inclined and motivated to vote. But today, apparently, from the reports, the voter turnout has been low. The youth are definitely interested in the process. Many of them choosing to participate and vote in the elections. And they see it as of utmost importance to their development, and they see that as very important for the path in which they have to choose to go forward for tomorrow in the world that we want to see for Barbados.
Taahir, there's been a very fast election campaign. Why were snap elections called?
Snap elections were called in Barbados because obviously we've been in the pandemic for 2 years now, and the Prime Minister, Mia Amor Motley, would have said, let's go back to the people to chart the new path. As you would know, we became a republic in November last year, and we want to now chart the new path of what Barbados could become and what Barbados should become. So that way she would have indicated that she's going to take it to the people as to what they want to choose and what they want to see for Barbados going forward over the next 5 years, which is when elections will be now constitutionally due within the next 5 years. So she took it to the people and said, let's decide before we chart our new path.
Taahir, as you've mentioned, of course, COVID-19 has overshadowed developments across the world over the past 2 years and impacted on Barbados's economy. What are the challenges ahead for the next government?
The next government has a very big mandate. First of all, our economy has stayed afloat, and thankfully we would have gone to the IMF in 2018, which would have probably kept our reserves above water. We would have seen first world countries' economies crash during the COVID pandemic, but thankfully our economy did not crash. And the next mandate, the next government would have that as of utmost importance. How are we going to develop our economy? How are we going to diversify our economy to meet the demands in a post-pandemic world? Also, our health system. Our health system has certainly been depleted, has been under severe challenges over the last 2 years. So that would be a next step. Also, the youth. What future do we have for the youth in terms of creating jobs, opportunities, in terms of providing suitable positions and opportunities for persons in Barbados to develop? So those three are the main mandates for the next government.
Taahir, how might the new government shape relations with the region? I'm thinking in terms of, for example, the Caribbean community.
Yes, the regional integration has definitely been a big mandate of the last government. Mia Amor Motley, as the chair of the CARICOM, she would have pushed for more regional integration, more regional collaboration when it comes to trade, when it comes to development, when it comes to overall collaboration and working together. So it's important for me as a youngster. I see regional integration as of utmost importance to our development because we are too small. Our individual countries are very, very much too small. We don't have the capacity, the human capacity to operate as big as the first world countries. So it's important that we work together. We have to put our differences aside and really look at the bigger picture where we can operate, which will definitely bring benefit to our people and bring benefit to our economies. And as I said, we're very much too small to operate in the way in which we're operating. And we really need to come together for the betterment of our people and for the betterment of our economies.
Taahir, you mentioned there the transition to a republic. What did that mean to you and what does it mean for Barbados?
Well, transitioning to a republic should have been done a very long time ago, in my opinion. It cut our colonial past. Obviously, we know of the horrors of the slave colonialism and the slave movement to the Caribbean and what it's done to Barbados. So it was very important that we become a republic where we can govern our own laws and be of our own, where Barbadians can now look up to the president and the head of state as a Barbadian and aspire to become a president one day, rather than having to go to the Queen to seek for approval for our laws and for certain other stuff. So it's very important that now we can govern and operate within our own capacity, within our own country. And for young people, we have to really aspire to become global citizens, and we have to understand what citizenship means and what being a Barbadian means to us as a people.
Taahir Bulbulia, he's a Barbados Youth Ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for offering your insight into these really important elections for Barbados today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.